getting tired of starting these episodes because I feel like it's like the same thing. Oh, hey, we're recording, right? We're recording. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to XP Galore. I am Raphael.
I am Marcus, and I'm not cutting that out.
And I am Daily.
I'm just trying to make it sound natural, you know. I don't want to sound like a robot, and I thought I was trying to come up with something clever to say, but then we started recording, so.
Next time, I want jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Okay.
And they always say you're more energetic when you smile when you talk.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're more energetic when you smile and talk. It's actually a true thing. It's hard to explain, but it's a proven fact.
Oh wow, that's cool. Now I'm gonna try to start smiling.
Yeah, when I would be in retail and we'd have to do like cold calls for stuff, one of the things they tell you is like or even just like when you have to answer the phone in general, you should always do it with a smile on your face, because the person on the other end can literally hear that, which is weird to say, but they can hear that you're smiling.
Man, then Joker got it down packed then, because he's always smiling.
Yeah, but would you really want to talk on the phone with Joker?
But that's what I'm saying, because he's a psychopath and he's smiling, so he's happy. So doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good thing.
Is he though?
I think he is.
What do you think, Daly? You think the Joker's happy?
I think so I actually watched the Joker, like the background, like that actual movie The Joker, like the background. And I think when you go to like the Batman version of the Joker, like just based on the movies, I feel like he's happy because he knows that he's finally alone, and he's come to the understanding that nobody will understand him except for, later on down the road when he meets Harley Quinn. And so I think when he's found Harley Quinn, he is in a happy place because he knows that no one, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to comprehend. Like, he's happy in the state of mind that he's in, and that he's already shoved all the darkness deep down where it can never be brought back up. And so I think he's in a happy state of mind.
Marcus, what do you think about that? Because I got my thoughts on it.
First of all, I didn't realize this conversation was going to get this deep. Hang on, I didn't put my thinky cap on.
You went with the serious Joker too.
So my thoughts are, well, first of all, like, I am a huge Batman fan. Like, Batman is my number one of all time. I find the character fascinating, and there's a lot of psychology behind Batman and his major villains. Maybe not so much like the minor ones that have popped up, but like, you find a lot of the major villains that were first written in his storyline are dark reflections of him with something that's like out of whack. Like Batman is a story of duality, right? Like, he struggles with playing the part of Bruce Wayne when Batman is his real version, and he has
struggling being a trillionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because it's been said a lot of times that, like, he's said that before, that Bruce Wayne is his mask and Batman is who he really is. So, like, you take Two-Face, for instance. Two-Face is what happens when that duality conflicts with itself too much, and there's no reconciliation with it.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of arguments that Batman is technically suffering from a psychosis.
Oh yeah.
And so the Joker could be said to be a reflection of when you let that psychosis control you.
Ah, that's deep, man. Man, what's going on? This is getting very deep, and we're talking about, like, it went from smiling, sounding happy, and now it's Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, because I
love it. I love it.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but I'll end on this, that if anybody out there or you guys are ever interested in really looking into that, there is a book out there, and I never read it fully. I started the audiobook version, but there I forget the name of it. I'm sorry, but there's at least one or two books out there about Batman and the mental state, and I think it has excerpts from, like, psychologists or psychiatrists that have kind of studied it on the side, and they offer their insight into what created Batman, the psychosis around losing your parents and never fully dealing with that, and then, like, his his rogues gallery of like Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, Joker, and how they are sort of reflections of him.
See, I grew up watching the cartoon. That's how I got into Batman, even though I knew about the comic books and all that. But I was, it was my time, and just the animated series of Batman came out with so many creative characters. Mark Hamill as the Joker is the most iconic voice to me. The laughter is it's the best one. But I remember Clayface, and I believe Clayface was actually invented in the animated series. He wasn't really in the comic books. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't know. But and also this I do know for a fact. Harley Quinn was invented in the animated series. She was never in the comic books. And she became so big. Now she has her own comic book and she's in the movies now, but her origin story was the animated series. So I just like the stories in the cartoon actually were very deep for even for kids to watch. There's an episode of Clayface that this piece of him escaped, kind of like went missing. It grew a conscience of its own, and it was a little girl. And Robin pretty much protected her. It was a long story short. That little girl didn't know she was a part of Clayface. So once in the ending, finds out that she's a part of Clayface and connects to Clayface, she ceased to exist.
Oh,
So that it destroyed Robin. Like it was like, and it was Kid Robin. You remember it's a cartoon. So it was a very deep, complex story. And I keep looking back. I'm like, damn, they really did an amazing job. And I was just a kid, and watching it again as an adult, I'm like, this holds up so well that kudos for them. And I want cartoons to be like that. DC kills it with their animated series. They kill it with, I could say they do well with their episodes, like seasons of shows, but they're terrible with their movies. I just wanted to throw that out there. Their movies suck.
just a very quick bit of research I did while you were talking about all that. Clayface actually was a comic appearance first.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It was Harley Quinn. I know that was for a fact. That
like Detective Comics in March of '41 is when he makes one of his major appearances.
That's cool. Now we just cut everything I said about maybe he started with an animated series. Remember, I'm not really big into comics. I've collected comics in my while I was a kid, but it was mostly my brother that was into comic books. I was always into gaming. So anything I hear or, seen, or I pretty much read or heard from someone else. And it's fascinating. It's amazing where comic books have gone. They're everywhere in movies. That's all we see in movies now. Next movie, superhero movie. All the time.
Daily, did you ever watch any of the Batman comic stuff or the cartoons, excuse me?
Oh yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of them. I mean, growing up, to be honest with you, when I was 6 years old, eating my Lucky Charms and my little PJs, I was watching more of the Spider-Man.
Oh, I love Spider-Man.
But I watched, oh god, people out there that love Batman don't hate me, but I watched the Batman Beyond. I think it was the one where his cape was integrated into his suit.
First of all, don't apologize. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
That's the best. That's one of the amazing animated series.
That was outside of the old school Batman cartoon. That was one of the Batmans I watched, but I literally watched every Spider-Man. So
yes.
The Batmans, the only ones that the only one that I've actually seen outside of the original one with Robin was the one where he had the cape integrated and it literally looked like a bat when he was flying around the city. That's the only Batman I watched. But I watched all the Spider-Mans, Amazing Spider-Mans, everything like that. So
I think if you've got HBO Max, they recently put all of Batman Beyond and all of Batman the Animated Series on there too for streaming.
I got it. I'm watching it. Okay, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. I've just been nerding out that they have all the original 5 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh on Hulu and Netflix. So I've just been nerding out and watching that stuff because I'm like, oh, it brings me back. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan back in the day with Digimon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Do you think they age well, Daily? I don't know.
Well, let's just say this. I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the first episode, and I couldn't finish.
Oh.
It's awful. It's so bad.
I grew up with it though. It's so bad it's good though. It's
Yeah.
so
I
bad
know,
it's
like-
good.
Like I just was like, I remember watching like the first 5-10 minutes maybe of that episode, and I was like, yeah, I just can't. Like in my head, I was like, I just can't. Like, and I was just like, I want to see Tommy. I want to see him go from like the White Ranger to the Green Ranger, but I was just like, I can't sit through and
Or
watch this
reverse.
horrible.
It was green then
Yeah,
white.
reverse. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Bit of trivia. Did
Um,
you guys know? You probably do know this, but you know that like the version that we saw here in America is actually 2 different filmed
Yep.
versions.
Yep.
Hmm.
Hmm?
Yeah, there's it started in Japan, correct? And then
Yes.
we kind of did a little spoof and did our own version of it.
Mhm.
My thing about that show, watching it now, is hilarious. Is the overacting and the fact that these kids are
fight
always
scenes?
they're always wearing the same damn freaking colors, and you're telling me you can't figure it out.
You can't
Yeah.
put 2 and 2 together.
It's worse than Clark Kent and Superman. Like, come on
Oh,
now.
God. Oh God! And then when they're talking, their head bobbling, like over expressing themselves, like "Come
Yeah.
on, guys, it's morphing time!" And I'm like, "Oh God, Jesus, dude, no!"
My favorite is the dramatic fight scenes. Like the dramatic fight scenes, like the choreographed fight scenes are so fucking bad. Or excuse
And-
me, they're so bad. Like they are just so
Yeah,
bad.
The sparks, and
Yeah.
them jumping. Ugh.
And then the smoke coming out of nowhere from the sparks, like
Yeah,
it's just
like
so-
or
somebody
even
blew out a candle.
even when they'd be on filming the actual actors, like when because for some reason there's like what karate tournaments every 3rd episode or some showcase, and so like when one of them would do like their katas or whatever, and like it's that
Yeah.
cheesy 90s rock and roll action music. It's so good.
Ah.
It was so cool when you're a kid, and then now you're just like, wow, I can understand why I lost a couple of brain cells. It's great.
Yeah, and who lives in that town that keeps getting attacked? There's always the same damn town, like all the time. Like, can't they just the bad guys attack other areas around the world?
I thought that when I was like 9 or 10, I was like, how come this one city always gets attacked? Is it just like crime central? Like, and if it is, why are people still living there? Like, get the heck out of Dodge. Like, you don't
Thank
need
you.
these-
It's funny
like-
how well these TV shows do the same thing where it's like all these bad things happen, and no one ever questions. These people must have amazing property insurance. For like the dramas, it's like these people who wreck their cars every 3rd episode, they must have amazing car insurance and health insurance, and they just are fine.
Yeah. I would
That was
not
my-
want to work in a building. I would not want to work in a building.
That was my other question when I was growing up, because like like my mom was telling me how much like there was like a thing back that happened in my old house in Tennessee where like the tree fell through the bedroom, and it was like $10,000, $12,000 to get just the bedroom fixed. And I'm sitting here watching Power Rangers, and I'm like, how are they rebuilding a city every week, like to
Huh.
complete back to like normal, like everything's fine, like all the buildings don't have a scrape on them, and then it just gets destroyed. I'm like, the construction company must make a fortune on like insurance. Like when they build this crap again, they're like, well, all right, Bill, here we go again. This week we got to fix 1732 Street or some crap like that. Like,
Okay, my theory with that, Daily, is that they get the best architects and the best construction workers to work in that town because they give the best amount of money to build all those destroyed buildings or whatever it is, and that's why they stay there. And they're so good that they build it in a week.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Here on XP Galore, we're rooting out the true theories behind how Power Rangers makes Angel Grove a very profitable place to live in if you have an architect degree.
So yeah, if you need a job, I'm pretty sure they're hiring. They're still hiring over there if it exists.
Quite possibly. Y'all look it up and let us know. Let us know if you get hired over there.
Oh, that's actually a good observation, because with superheroes, even Gotham City, why would you live there? New York City, for some reason, every Marvel superhero lives in New York City, and just Spider-Man alone, the things he has to go through. If you played a video game in the PS5, I would not want to live in New York City. Not now, not even in the Marvel
I know.
universe, because
No.
it is insane. Like, everyone wants to destroy New York City.
really?
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, it's quite strange. So anyways, what a good topic. We'll have to focus on that later on down the road.
Yeah, to be continued with that one.
To be continued on that. So I'm curious, what other updates do we have? What have we been playing, guys? Roth, you go first. What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing on my Switch. I'm almost 100% done with Ori and the Blind Forest because I just like that Metroidvania style of gameplay. But also, I was super excited because the Resident Evil demo came out for Village.
Uh-huh.
Even though it's not the actual game it's made in, it's just showcasing its graphics for the PS5. I am super duper excited. I cannot wait. Every time a Resident Evil comes out, I literally take vacation and make sure I give myself 5 days to beat it. And I don't need 5 days. I just need probably 24 hours.
Ooh, that's a bold claim. You think you'll do Village in 24 hours?
Let's say Resident Evil 7 took me a couple of years because I was too scared to play it.
But now you're
No,
prepared because you know what to
This one
expect.
doesn't. Yeah, this one doesn't have VR though. But if it's in VR format and I get the VR before it comes out, which I doubt, I won't be able to beat it in 24 hours. But if I play it as a first-person shooter, just regular on my TV, I could do it.
And Daly, I know you had mentioned you weren't able to play it because I think the demo just came out on PlayStation 5, but I do remember them saying that a demo for the other consoles will be out in March, I believe. So you'll be able to experience it then if you'd like. Are you a big Resident Evil person, Daly?
Not really, not in particular. I've played a couple of them. I've played a couple of them. They're not my cup of tea. I've just Jesus. I've pushed through the campaign. I've played the campaign, but I haven't been like a perfectionist in it. So yeah. So for me, like, I like in March, if the rumors are true, I'll be playing Mass Effect: The Trilogy Legend Edition rather than that.
Oh, you're not my friend anymore. You're not my friend. We can't talk.
Well, we were
Marcus,
acquaintances to start with.
Marcus, you tell Daly that I won't speak to him until
Oh
he
no, have you
plays Resident
shunned
Evil.
him? Are we doing the office stuff now? It's like shun, unshun, shun.
Unshun.
You tell Daly to start playing Resident Evil. It's a part of history. We love horror games. This guy always talks about killing zombies, and this is like one of the godfathers of zombie
It
games.
is. That is true.
I will do that if you tell me who's in the Super Bowl without looking it up. You have 5 seconds.
I have no clue. Super Bowl.
It's the Chiefs and the Buccaneers.
Kellogg's. I don't know.
Kellogg's.
Kellogg's, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well,
So just to speak briefly on that demo, I too played it, and for those of you who may be unaware of what it is, like Ralph was saying, it's not a demo of the pure game. It's like we don't actually even know when it's supposed to take place, but because you're playing as some unknown character, and it's only about roughly 10 to 15 minutes of it. It's a beautiful showcase. I'm super intrigued by what we saw in there. I don't want to give too much of it away, but if you have the ability to play it either now or when it launches, when the demo launches on other consoles in March, I would highly recommend it. And yes, I too will be going ham on that game when it comes out in May.
And remember, this is the maiden demo. Do not go in thinking it's an actual game. Again, it's a showcase of the graphics and the controls, but it does not have combat. So before you start judging the actual game, it's not meant to be seen as an actual video game. It's more of a presentation of showing off the engine, pretty much a graphics engine. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was real fun though. I liked it. It was awesome.
I liked it. I loved it. Yeah. Woo! Can't wait. So since we're talking about video games, I want to get everyone's thoughts of pros and cons of being a hardcore gamer. And I'll just start real quick to let you know that my pros and cons. And pros, like I said, I take vacation sometimes, specific games, just to dedicate my time to make sure I take every juice out of that game. I drop that money down, and I make sure I get what's worth. You know what I mean? and the cons is, time consuming. Um, Try not to neglect people, as in family, friends. But it happens. But we're cool because we understand the process. But the people that are not gamers don't understand our passion, so they see it more as a problem, which it could be if you're not careful. And yeah, that's why I just wanted to pick your minds. What's your process? What do you guys think about it? And
What
I'll
is
stop there.
like? What's your Tell us what your definition of hardcore gaming is. Like, what do you consider hardcore gaming?
Hardcore gaming is to me somebody that really invests time on a video game. Let's say if you're a competitive gamer and you're playing Call of Duty, you're a hardcore gamer. If you're playing Apex Legends, I don't like Fortnite. I'm sorry, guys, but
It's
that's
okay.
one.
It's okay. I
Like
don't care
games
for
like
it either.
competitive games, or if you like single player experiences or JRPGs or RPGs in general, those are very time consuming. Hardcore gaming for me is like you're pretty much playing you're investing a lot of time on a video game or video games. That's how I see it.
So I would love to go first on this topic if you guys don't mind.
Technically, you're going second, but that's fine.
No, actually, you know what, Marcus? You tell Daily that he has to wait until he beats Resident Evil.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, randomly, on Steam right now, it is I think the first 4 Assassin's Creed games you can buy them for $22.77 on Steam. I'll have to check it though. I can't believe it's the first 4 or all of them. Anyways, any hoot and whatnot.
That's a big one.
Competitive gaming. So my thoughts are it all comes down to this because
Remember, hardcore gaming. We're talking about
Right.
hardcore gaming, but I
Right,
use
so-
competitive as an example.
I think it comes into I think there's a few points that come into this. Point 1 is hours spent on a single game. So I think like when you're talking about hardcore gaming, it's like not just like, oh, I play this game, I play that game. That's fine. But if you're like one of those people that play like 3 games and they're like you're fully maxed out, you have everything, you have strategies, you have teammates to where you raid stuff, and you're doing it 20 to 22 hours a day, you're getting like 2 hours of sleep a day.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. The second point is how much money you've invested into the games. Not just buying the game, but the DLCs, buying expansions. Like there's some games where like sports games, there like you have to spend money to get like VC or bucks to purchase. Fortnite's a good one where you have VC bucks to purchase like skins or whatever. Call of Duty, I don't know if you guys noticed, Activision just did this thing supposedly where if you buy more in-game skins and stuff, you'll be put into bot lobbies, basically like lower KD lobbies. So I think that also has to define like how much of a hardcore gamer you are as well. Are you purchasing more than just the game? Now I understand like if it's like a $4.99 skin and you want to look like the Joker, like that's cool. But like I'm talking about if I open up your game and you have every skin known to man on the game from like season 1,
Ooh.
I think that's where you have a problem.
Or you're a collector.
No, because like there's collector. Like if you're a collector outside of a virtual game. Like I'm not pull. If I was single daily, I'm not bringing the girl I bring over, booting up my PS5 and showing her everything I have collected there. I'm showing her my collection of my pops. I'm showing her my collections of my sneakers. I'm showing her the bedroom eventually. I'm doing all of these things to impress her, not just look at my Fortnite collection. Unless she's into Fortnite, then that's a different story. But like, I'm not saying like I'm gonna win this girl over by showing her I have every skin from season 1. That's where it comes to hardcore gaming for me. And then the third one, and I'll be done, I think is when relationships start to suffer. Not just your marriage or your spouse. I think when your friendships start to suffer, and as well as like parenting, like if you're giving up your son or your daughter to play a video game and you're losing that time, that valuable time, if they're like 2 years old or 4 years old and they just want to hang out with their dad or their mom, if you're giving up days and days of adequate times, I think that's when there's a serious issue with hardcore gaming. And now I'll turn it over to Marcus and let him give his 2 cents.
So I think there's some interesting points that you both have brought up. I think the first thing I'll say is, Daly, your comment about like what you found to be a little bit too much hardcore gaming as far as collections and stuff go. I think that's a testament to like just a value statement, because like some people they find a lot of value in that, and I think in the past there's been, and probably still today, there's that negative stigma that comes with people who play video games like more than just 1 or 2 hours a week or something like that. That people that play a lot of it, I think there's still a little bit of that negative stereotype to it. And so I think maybe, you know, some people who are very proud of that will gladly show that off to people, and, you know, more power to them. And I can't really say that I have a game where I have bought every single thing like that to show off, but like I said, it's just everybody has value in something that they're proud of, and I think more and more people are becoming that way when it comes to video games. So it's curious to see like the people that you know put in a lot of time. I just did Apex Legends with somebody 1 or 2 nights ago who their overall game rank is at level 500, which I think is like either max or it's pretty close. And I was like, wow, you sweat much? but he was like, yeah, I've been playing since season 1, and we're about to go into season 8 here of Apex Legends. So that's what he puts a lot of value into. So you could probably consider him by almost an objective viewpoint, an Apex Legends player. Sure. So, but the other thing I do want to say is some of the other things you both have brought up, when especially the point about when relationships start to suffer. That's I think less hardcore gaming, and we're starting to venture into territory of like gaming addiction, which is definitely a thing. Now, I don't mean who was it? I don't remember what organization came up with this, but I remember it being the butt of a lot of jokes about sometime last year, I think, or maybe in the year before. Some medical organization defined gaming addiction as like more than, I think it's in the single digits of hours per week played. And it was laughable at best because everyone was like, oh,
that's it?
Oh, it me. I'm addicted.
That's it? I do double that.
Yeah.
Do you guys provide a scholarship option?
Yeah, I know, right? Can I be part of a case study? Let's go. But yeah, so gaming addiction is a real thing, and I would agree wholeheartedly with you guys that like I think anything is okay when it's treated in a moderate fashion, as long as it's not hampering your ability to either earn an income or to take care of your basic human needs, you know, that kind of thing. So, I guess if I had to define hardcore gaming, it's something similar to what you both said. You know, just you have a passion for something and you put a lot of effort into it. My hardcore gaming traits come out when I play project games, which I don't do this as much anymore with the Assassin's Creed titles, because I don't really play those much anymore. But like most Ubisoft games for me are project games, and so and so for me it's like I can't play the final mission, the one where they say, okay, there's no turning back, the point of no return mission. I can't do that until I clear the map out.
Okay, so you are completionist. That's your completionist, wanting to experience the entire game before you beat it, because I feel like, and I believe Marcus, what you go through is the same I feel. If I just beat the game, I can't go back and feel excited about doing the side quests.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm surprised at myself because I don't want to go down this tangent too long, but as of a few days ago, I actually finally rolled credits on Cyberpunk.
Oh, wow.
I put about 50 hours into it, and
Congrats.
thank you. It was a lot of fun. But I did not engage in my completionist tendencies on that game.
Yeah, I heard
a
it's
lot
big.
of people didn't. I heard a
Yeah,
lot of people didn't.
It's big. It's too big.
Yeah, I'll put it to you this
Yeah.
way. So I bought a strategy guide that I bought it like after I was about to finish the game. It's for like the next time or two that I play through this game because I will replay it. But the main section, like the main mission section of that guide, is probably less than an inch thick if you held all the pages together. The side quest part is probably closer to 2 inches.
Ooh.
So like you could
Yeah.
you could easily get through the main section of that, but then like after I beat it, you can go back to right before you play the very last mission so that you can get other stuff done. And I looked over at my map, and there is still so much yellow on it to do, and I'm just like, for time's sake and for things that I want to do down the road, I don't feel like doing that right now. So I think my idea of like hardcore gaming is still there with the completionist stuff, but then like I think my value on me feeling like I have to do that with every game has changed too. So I think that stuff just changes as you get older, or your priorities change in life with like whether
Yeah,
you're
definitely
married
when
or
we got
whatever.
older.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
There is actually two things I want to bring up before, and I want to actually direct this to Daily. One is I forgot actually I did play a new game that I missed out on, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. I got it for the PS5 because I skipped 11 and then I played the story. I enjoyed it. The I wanted to bring this to Daily's attention because he was talking about the skins. Mortal Kombat 11, if you purchase all the DLC skins, it'll cost you $6,440 in total
And
to own. I would not ever do that.
I bet somebody has done it. I
I-
honestly, like, we're talking about like gamers here.
I don't know,
It
man.
would-
That's
it wouldn't surprise me.
6,000. That's too much.
I bet you if you find the most hardcore Mortal Kombat gamer out there, he's got it. I bet you he spent $6,000 and he has like no like second thoughts about it, and he's like, yeah, what skin do you want me to play Sub-Zero with? Like, I
That's
guarantee
weird.
you, I guarantee you there's somebody out there, and if you are and you're listening, put your name in the comments. We want to know who you are. We'll get you on
I'm
the
just saying,
podcast.
it's like you're playing dress up with a digital character that you don't really physically own. It's like, hey, look, I got him a nice shirt, a nice mask. Yeah, look at these pants. Like, it's just, I don't fall for that. I don't know. But another thing too, just to play devil's advocate, because the time that we spend on playing video games, don't you think it's similar to people that binge watch shows on Netflix or TV? What's the difference with a person that games and let's say for 8 hours of their day versus a person that sits down and tries to binge watch a season of Doctor Who?
Well, I don't know. I think now we're, instead of talking about hardcore gaming, I think we're diving now into addictive personalities.
Okay.
And I think that's something completely different, because you have people that have different like addictive personalities. People like to have their dopamine attracted to shows that they can feel and get emotion off of that, whereas people play video games to draw emotions off of that as well. So I feel like if you're they have similarities, yes and no, but I feel like now if you take away the hardcore gaming, now you're like putting it into an addictive personality trait.
That's true. I respect that, Daily. Thank you for answering that, even though I still hate you that you don't play Resident Evil.
So my ultimate question, before we wrap up the topic, do you consider yourselves hardcore gamers? And if not, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put yourself as a gamer? 1 being like you play it maybe 5 hours a week, 10 being a hardcore gamer where you need to think about entering in rehab.
Ooh. I think I'm near 8 or 9.
Okay.
Because I'm a collector, so I do have some sort of a addictive personality when it comes to collecting, especially video game things like accessories, consoles, retro games, current games. Yeah, I have a problem, guys.
So you would categorize yourself as a hardcore gamer?
Yes, Yes, but it falls in a different category because for example, I can't physically play every single game that comes out. It's to me it's close to impossible. I don't have that time. But I do tend to collect it, which is a problem too, because if you think about it, I do own Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, yet I have not played them or beat them. I played them, but I haven't beat them, and I don't like skipping games. I have all the trilogy, but I refuse to skip and play part 2 or see part 3.
You know, Marcus, what Ralph is sounding like is he's like, I'm not. He's like, I asked him if he was a hardcore gamer, and he's like, yes. It's like a hoarder asking him why they collect newspapers from 1996.
Keep your boxes, guys. Keep your boxes. Keep your boxes, your manuals. You know.
Yeah.
Cases.
I guess.
Marcus.
Yeah. If I had to rate myself, I'd be pretty close to Roth. I would almost consider it a 7, maybe.
Okay.
Mostly because I try to play so many different games, and I find that like every now and then I have to like give up a game or two because I was like I don't have the time, or it took me a long time before I became okay with parting ways with a game without completing it, because then I would feel like there was years where I would feel like that was wasted money or wasted time. But
yeah,
it's okay to walk away from something. It just took me a long time to reconcile with that. And same thing like what Rolf just said too. I have a hard time jumping into the middle of a series too. So we talked about Resident Evil earlier. Even though I've played them all before, I've now decided that between now and May, I am going to try to play not every Resident Evil, because that would just be awful and I would have to question my sanity. But I'm going to play all the Raccoon City ones, so like 0, 1, 2, and 3.
Those are the best ones.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to play 7 again, just because the same character is in 8.
Yeah.
Because like my hardcore gaming obsessive tendencies would state that even if I didn't play the Raccoon City ones, I would have to replay 7 anyways because it's the same character. It's kind of like I couldn't go see The Dark Knight in theater without rewatching Batman Begins, so on and so forth. You know, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
So would you say
yeah.
Would you say at one point in your gaming career that you were a hardcore gamer? Like, would you put yourself in that category? Not like
Yes.
where you are now, but like in the past, would you have put yourself there?
Yeah,
Think about it, Marcus. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
absolutely. Because
Metal Gear.
Yeah, well, yeah, Metal Gear. I played that. I would play that just through a weekend, just easily. And if you had hours to spend, I could sit down and give you a dissertation on the whole Metal Gear series. But we will not do that. But I will say, just to wrap up my point, yeah, I don't do this as much now. But you know, people talk about their Steam libraries being extensive because they find stuff that's on sale and they buy or whatever. I remember as a kid, I would continually ask for video games, and my parents were in a position where they would buy them. It became a reward system based off good grades, which was probably for the best. But I had a lot of games that I owned that I would never finish, and I try not to do that as much now because it's like if I own something, I should put in the effort to at least roll credits on it to get to some form where it ends. Otherwise, I'm just going to have this massive library of stuff that I never touch, and I'll always play the same stuff over and over again and not even work on the other stuff. So I would still say like I'm almost like hardcore gamer. I just like I'm just a big on like variety, and I try to touch on a lot of different types. So
that's cool.
Okay.
What about you, Daily? Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, this might shock a lot of people, but I kind of put myself at like a 5 or a 6. I've never really categorized myself as a hardcore gamer. I went through a small phase in college with Skyrim, where I played 300 and something hours the first month or first 3 months it came out. But I think now, looking at now, you know, everybody knows I'm a big Call of Duty zombie fan. Like, I'll play zombies. But you know, I try to put perspective with what I played. Is every gun maxed out? No. because I don't take it to that level. The only level I take it to is that I want to get to level 100 solo. So I think I'm a hardcore zombie player in that sense, but overall gaming wise I'm not, because I put a lot of things in perspective. Like I put my job first, I put my wife first, and stuff like that. So back when we, didn't have to wear masks, I would hang out with friends. So I was the guy that played maybe 10 to 15 hours a week before COVID. And obviously since COVID, I've, been playing a lot more. But I never really, outside of that one little small glimpse of college, I never really put myself as like a hardcore gamer. I've just how I've always been. I've been very like sports enthusiastic. Marcus can attend to that. I was always very big into like recreational sports stuff in college and stuff like that. So for me, I would put myself at a 5, 6 at the most. I don't think I need counseling.
You're a casual gamer now.
I'm a casual.
Gamer.
I fall into casual, but don't get me wrong. The hand-eye coordination is still there. Obviously, if I've made it to round 72 on zombies, my hand-eye coordination is still there. So yeah, man. So I think that wraps up my point as I'm just a casual. I think I'm in the middle of this Oreo of the two hardcore gamers.
I feel like I'm in an intervention. You guys are like, Raphael, you have a problem. you're close to 10. You're the closest to the 10 here.
Nah.
But I will say, I have spent.
You spent a lot.
No. I have not spent a single dime in the past.
Oh no. Time, I meant time wise.
Oh, time, yeah, but money wise, I'm very big on free to play. So I play a lot of stuff that's like I'll play it and I won't spend a dime on it outside of the game, solely based on the fact that like I feel like gaming now is like they're trying to push it to, if you want that, you need to purchase this or purchase that or have this or have that. And I'm very big on like back when we were playing way back in the day that once you got the game, you played the game, there was nothing else added to it. That's how the companies made their money. Obviously, the gaming world has changed. Companies realize that they get more money off of microtransactions, so they're pushing it that way, but they still have that option to where if you're like, look, if you want to do free to play, here it is. You just don't get the cool skins. There's no gun advantage. You know what I mean? There's like no perk advantage. So I think that's kind of cool in that sense that they keep it that way. But people all are about like the aesthetic looks. Like a lot of Warzone players like that dark, no hair, all black character. I forget what the name of it is.
Emo?
No, I don't know.
Goth?
Yeah, sure. But there's a skin like that where you can't even see them in the middle of the day.
Oh, like a shadow person?
They're like a shadow. Yeah, I forget. Somebody in the comment section will probably tell me. I forget, but like there's a skin like that where you have to like be focused at like 2 inches away from your monitor to see them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like season 1, and they did season 1 or season 3 where they brought that skin out, and everybody bought it for like $20 because it gave them an advantage in the game because you couldn't see them. So
you know what? I'm
Yeah.
surprised. This generation is so lucky that they get to get those free to play games now, and I'm surprised it's working. But hey,
free to
kudos
play.
them.
What are you talking? Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm saying like that's how they get you. It's
like
it's
Apex and all
it's
that.
the gateway.
Yeah.
It is a gateway. It's like, hey,
Yeah, no,
we
it
try
is,
this
yeah.
out, and they'll be like, oh, by the way, if you spend $20, you're gonna get this awesome suit that makes you slightly invisible. And you're gonna be like, oh, that looks dope. $20?
I'm not-
You know what? I got this game for free. So if I spend $20, it's not really that bad because it was $20 that that's how they get you.
Yeah, well, a lot of the things that I was talking about, like, is like microtransaction is like a lot of sports games nowadays, like FIFA and 2K and Madden is like, the old thing now is like you can build your own team and play them and make your own team rather than like Play Now where it was like you would play FIFA and you'd be one team against one team. Well, now it's like you can pick and add different players from other countries and stuff. But there's like packs for like $100 you can open up and pretty much get every person in the pack bundle that came out. And so, if you get all these people that are like, oh, I want, Cristiano Ronaldo at 92 overall, and they spend $100 to rip through like 50 packs just to get them. Little do they know that if they just saved up their free to play coins and bought them on the marketplace, they could have got them. But they want like that instant gratification. and so they buy them like right then and there. So
Yeah.
It
it's
sounds
smart how they're doing it.
yeah, it sounds like we are entering into that conversation of microtransactions, and I think
yeah, it really does.
I think we can definitely express our thoughts on that in a future episode for sure. Because I know I'm sure
Oh,
we
yeah.
all have our own thoughts on it, but yeah, I think we kind of all got our ideas out there tonight for hardcore gaming, and it's good to know that we all have our own opinions on it, and we all love and support each other until somebody goes crazy and doesn't show up for recording their podcast episode, and then we'll have to talk about it.
Hey.
They will know that happens the day that there's only 2 voices on this podcast.
No, guys, don't listen to that. I have a life out of this place, okay? I work overnight, and I said it multiple times. My schedule's way different than them's. So
Right.
Thems.
We got
That'll be
you.
edited.
We got you. All right. Well, for all of you out there listening and or watching, thank you so much for giving us your time. Let us know in the comments, like, what are your thoughts on a hardcore gamer? We'd love to hear if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, and we'd like to know why either way. So with that being said, Roth, take us home, buddy.
Hey guys, we're all hardcore gamers at heart. So thank you for listening. This is XP Galore. I appreciate your time, guys. And my name is Raphael.
And I am Marcus.
I'm Daily the Casual Gamer.
Who hasn't played Resident Evil?
Okay,
You
Mass
guys-
Effect non-player.
That's a talking simulator. Everyone, love you guys. And take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Wearing your mask.
Yes, do that.